On page 212, the blessing for the Psukei de Simbra, in which we undertake the challenge of uplifting our souls. Baruch she'amar vaya olam, Baruch Hoseh Bereshit, Baruch Omer Be'oseh, Baruch Goser Umekayem, Baruch Merachem al haaretz, Baruch Merachem al habriot, Baruch Meshalem Sachar Tov Liriav, Baruch Hailad Bekayam Lanetzach, Baruch Podeh Umatzir, Baruch Baruch Shemo. With song of praise, we extol you and proclaim your sovereignty, for you are the source of life in the universe, one God, life of the universe. Praise and glorious ruler, your name is eternal. Baruch atah Adonai, melech meulal, batish bachod. On page 214, Mizmor Shir leyom HaShabbat.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, אליי 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 אליי, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, אליי 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 אליי, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך העליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדיך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי אסון ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור, עלי אסון ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, אליי אליי אליי, צדיקת אמר יפרח, כארץ בלבנון יזכה, שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו, אור ינובו בשיבה, כשנים רעננים יהיו, להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורים ולא הבלטות. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, איי 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 איי.
Happy are those who dwell in your house. Ashrei yoshbei beitecha od yalelucha sela. We are at the top of page 215.
Ay ya da da ya la da 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 ya la da 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 ya la da ay 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 la da da ay ya da 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 ya la da da ay 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 la da asher shekach
אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו, אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו, אשרי העם שככה לו, אשרי העם שאדוני אלוהיו. We continue with the silent reading of Ashrei over pages 215 and 216, or alternatively, you can take a moment, close your eyes, and think about something that brings joy to your life. We're at the bottom of page 216.
תהילת אדוני ידבר פי ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם לעולם ועד ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולמה. הללויה, הללויה, תהילת אדוני ידבר פי ויברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם לעולם ועד אנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולמה. הללויה, הללויה, ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולמה. הללויה, hallelujah. On page 218, hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. El Bekocho, hallelujah, Bekiyazo, hallelujah, Big Vurotap, hallelujah, Kerokoda, hallelujah, 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 Beteka Shabbat,
Hallelujah,
Benevel Bechinot,
hallelujah,
Betofu Machot,
hallelujah, Beminim Beugab, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, Betzilzele Trua, Hallelujah,
Betzilzele Shema,
Hallelujah, Betzilzele Trua, Kol Anshama, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Kol Anshama, Hallelujah, Hallelujah, Kol Anshama. Hallelujah, hallelujah. This week we celebrated Yom Ha'atzmaut, the independence of the state of Israel. And I think of the state of Israel as, I don't know, the most important miracle that happened to the Jewish people in the last, 2,000 years. And it's hard to explain with words our gratitude just for the mere existence of a national home for us. Our gratitude when we think of the prayers of our ancestors for 2,000 years to see the state of Israel or a Jewish home become a reality. And for those places in which our emotions overpower our ability to express with words our gratitude, for those places we use prayers. Ilu finu male shira kayam. Even if our mouths were full of song as the sea, we could not find the words to thank you adequately, to thank you enough, Adonai. We are on page 220.
Ilu finu male shira kayam, od shanenu rina kamon galav, וספתותינו שבח כמחבר הגייה, ועינינו מאירות כשמש וחי הירח, וידינו פרוסות כנשרי שמיים, ורגלינו קלות כאיילות. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו. אין אנחנו מספיקים להודות לך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו.
Next week. 222, the blessing that concludes the Psukei, the Simbra, Shochenad Marom. Shochenad Marom, וקדוש שמו, וכתוב רננו צדיקים באדוני, לישרים נבע תהילה, בפי ישרים תתהלל, ובדברי צדיקים תתרומם, ובלשון חסידים תתרומם, ובקרב קדושים תתקדש, ובמקהלות רבבות עמך בית ישראל, ורינה את פעל שמך מלכנו, בכל דור ודור, ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו, האל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ, כי לך נהן, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו באמותינו, שירו שמך הלל וזמרה, עוז וממשלה, נצח גדולה וגבורה, תהילה ותפארת, קדושה ומלכות, ברכות והודאות, מעתה ועד עולם. Space, breathe. ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול בתשבחות, אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי שמרה, מלך מלכי עולמים. On page 224.
יתגדל ויתקדש מרבה, בעלמא דברך ירטב ימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחייתך בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעולם מהוויה, יתברך, יתברך וישבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה, שמי דקדושה לילה מן כה ברכתה בשירתה,
קדוש שמך אתה ולחם אתה, אמירם ועלמא, ואמרו אמן. יאי די 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 די. We're on page 226. יאי די 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 די. יאי די 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 די.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך,
See the. We read together in English on page 228. Praised are you, Adonai, our God,
sovereign of the universe, creator of light and darkness, who makes peace and fashions all things. In mercy you illumine the world and those who live upon it. In your goodness you daily renew creation. How numerous are your works, Adonai! In wisdom you formed them all, filling the earth with your creatures. Be praised, Adonai our God, for the excellent work of your hands and for the lights you created. May they glorify you. Shine a new light upon Zion, that we all may swiftly merit its radiance. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot.
We turn our Siurim to page 230.
You start. Remember? Okay, I'll start.
Avarava,
Avaraba,
Avarava,
Avaraba,
Avarava,
Avaraba,
Aftanu. Adonai Eloheinu. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. Adonai Eloheinu. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. How deeply you have loved us. Adonai Eloheinu. Ahava Rava. Ahava Rava. Ahava Rava. Avdanu. Adonai Eloheinu. Be'aherenu v'toratecha v'da'avek libeinu v'mitzvotecha ve'yachem levaveinu le'ahava u'lira v'shonecha ve'lo nebosh ve'lo nikalem ve'lo nikashem le'olam ba'hem ki b'shem קודשך הגדול והנורא פתחנו נגילה ונשמחה נגילה ונשמחה בישועתך יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai, lai 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 lai. Gather us in peace from the four corners of the earth and lead us upright to our land. For you, O God, work wonders. You chose us. Truly, you drew us near to your great name that we might acknowledge you, declaring you one in love. Praised be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch ata Adonai, abocher be'amo Israel be'ava. Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. Adonai said to Moses as follows, Speak to the Israelite people and instruct them to make for themselves fringes on the corners of their garments throughout the ages. Let them attach a cord of blue to the fringe at each corner. That shall be your fringe. Look at it and recall all the commandments of Adonai and observe them, so that you do not follow your heart and eyes in your lustful urge. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת.
Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness, there is your world. Emet, that pen strokes of lightning, white fire, black flame, stir the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is Torah. Your truth for us is certain and established, now and forevermore. Like Moshe, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out with you and rejoice. We are on page 240 for Mi Chamocha. Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi Kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Mi Chamocha ba'elim Adonai, כמוך נדר בקודש, תורת תהילות עושה פלא, תורת תהילות עושה פלא. שירה חדשה, שיר חוג גאולים, לשמך על שפת הים. אחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. לי 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 ישראל קומה בעזרת ישראל, עובדנו מחה יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל. איי די 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 ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We turn our Sidurim to page 242 for Tfilat Amidah.
תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Kamel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו מושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה מתים אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד אתה. מחלקי חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ברופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומיתו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו, ברחמיו לכל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך.
ולנצח נצחים, ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גודלך.
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור,
לדור ודור נגיד גודלך.
ולנצח נצחים,
ולנצח נצחים, קדושתך קדושתך נקדיש,
ושבחך
אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש, לעולם לעולם ועד.
ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי שבת וקוראי עונת, ימי קודשי שביעי, כולם יסתנגו בטובך, וישביעו רצי לקדוש את שחפות ימים וזוכרות השכל למעשה בראשית. אנחנו Let's have it. So clever. Don't worry, I bring you. I should find a key for you. We're at the bottom of page 260.
Oh, say shalom, shalom, bimromav. Oh, yeah, say shalom, aleinu. Ve'al Israel, ve'imru amen. Oh, yeah, say shalom, aleinu ve'kol Israel, amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav. Oh, yeah, say shalom aleinu ve'kol Israel, amen.
We turn our Sidurim to page 362 in order to begin the Torah service. Please rise as we open the ark.
אין כמוך באלוהים, אדוני, ואין כמעשיך. מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלך לעולם ועד.
בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה. שבת שלום. ככל בשמיים ובארץ, ככל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה, תמיד נעשה לכל ברוך. Ningún bina. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la. Yay lay 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 yay lay 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 lay. You may be seated. So, Parashat Kedoshim is one of the most interesting Torah portions in the entire Torah. And the reason it's so interesting is because it's probably one of the richest Torah portions in the entire Torah. Do you know why? What's the holiness code? What's the holiness? That's a good point. Like the holiness code. Like it's a big title, but what's the holiness code? Okay, that's the first sentence in the entire in the Torah portion. I'm holy, so you shall be holy. It's kind of it's an establishment of reciprocity between the divine presence and basically us, right? I'm holy, you're holy, you're created in my image, so keep up to that idea. But but the code, what's the code?
It's quite literally a laundry list of do's and don'ts, things you should do to be holy, to be appropriate, to do the right thing.
It's literally a list. And when we have these kind of conversations, the only way that we can have these conversations is by making sure that we are all here, that we have one conversation. It's the one that we handle together. If you want to have other conversation, it's okay, but not now or not here. Okay, so let's have one. Now, I want to read with you, Rabbi Art. Where are you? You come with me. I want to read with you. I told him in advance. I'm not surprising him. I want to read with you the first couple of psukim, the first couple of verses of Parashat Kedoshim, and then I want to discuss with you two of them. Two very famous ones. You want to go with the English? Which version are you holding? I have the, okay. I have the, you know, did you get the first page of the Torah portion? In what page is it? So I want to, we have it? Okay, so let's, Rabenu, you go? Yeah.
Okay. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe lemor.
No, in English.
The Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the whole Israelite community and say to them, you shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. You shall each revere his mother and his father and keep my Sabbaths. I, the Lord, am your God."
So first mitzvah, honor your father and your mother, keep my Shabbat. Next.
Do not turn to idols and make molten gods for yourselves. I, the Lord, am your God.
Idolatry. It's like the Ten Commandments, right? It's like the Ten Commandments explain. The first three, they are there in the Ten Commandments. Let's keep going.
When you sacrifice an offering of well-being to the Lord, sacrifice it so that it may be accepted on your behalf. It shall be eaten on the day you sacrifice it, or on the day following. But what is left by the third day must be consumed in fire. If it should be eaten on the third day, it is an offensive thing. It will not be acceptable.
Okay, you remember that was our conversation yesterday for those that were here. We spoke about eating leftovers. We spoke about this idea that eating leftovers is pretty much everybody's practice. That's what we do. We cook once for the entire week or twice for the entire week. But this idea that sometimes our relationships and important things for us are based on this idea that we have made a sacrifice some time ago, and therefore I wait. It's based in this idea that we have made a sacrifice maybe 10 years ago, and therefore we are close, we have some proximity to this person or to this place, but the reality is that in order to keep that proximity, we need to keep bringing offerings. We can't base our proximity, our closeness to someone or to something, just on something that happened in the past. We need to renew our offerings constantly. Let's keep going.
And he who eats of it shall bear his guilt, for he has profaned what is sacred to the Lord. That person shall be cut off from his kin. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap all the way to the edges of your field or gather the gleanings of your harvest. You shall not pick your vineyard bare or gather the fallen fruit of your vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and the stranger. I, the Lord, am your God.
So built in your life practice, you are supposed to have donations. You are supposed to. Yeah, they are not using the word tzedakah here. The tzedakah is like it's a post value, but there is something here about, as you live your life, as you collect your stuff, your money, there are things that should be left for others. I think it's more like taxes. This is a tax. Out of whatever earnings you have, you are supposed to leave something in order to sustain those that are weaker in the society.
I think it's also consideration for others. Just it's an obligation, clearly, but it's, as you say, the way we live our lives is supposed to be with consideration for those who don't have what we have.
Yeah, fair. And if you take it a bit deeper than that, like this idea, when you get your salary, it's yours, right? Like it's your salary. It's what you did. Like you are not thinking, when you think about consideration of others, like, yeah, you're not thinking of others when you get your salary. Maybe your children. or your wife or your husband, like those that are a part of your tribe. But we usually complain about our taxes, right? Like when we think about our taxes, maybe because we feel that they don't go to the right places. I don't know. But this idea that the tax, at the end of the day, is what Rabbi Art said, which is beautiful, is an expression of consideration toward others.
But what you said is important too. It's not our money. It's God's money.
Oh.
That's why, for example, someone asks us for a loan, that's our opportunity to fulfill a mitzvah of sharing or God's money with somebody else.
Yeah, fair.
Okay, you shall not steal. You shall not deal deceitfully or falsely with one another. You shall not swear falsely by my name, profaning the name of your God. I am the Lord.
This is like the Ten Commandments again. They're repeating. Let's keep going.
You shall not defraud your fellow. You shall not commit robbery. The wages of a laborer shall not remain with you until morning. You shall not insult the deaf or place a stumbling block before the blind.
Let's go a bit slower here. So, 11, you shall not steal, you shall not deny falsely, and you shall not lie to one another. You shall not swear falsely by my name, thereby desecrating the name of your God. I am Hashem. So, do you get that already? No. I lost you. Yes. So bearing false testimony, let's keep going. You shall not cheat your fellow. You shall not cheat your fellow. You shall not rob a worker's wage. And this is an important idea. I wanted to stop here. You went too behind. There's a law that says that you cannot go sleep when you owe somebody else salary. You just can't do that. You cannot leave someone who is supposed to get his or her payment without that payment. And that's a very, very important idea, because sometimes we say, well, next week, or I'm not happy with the work of this employee, I will retain his salary for a couple of days. Well, it's completely forbidden. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that. Let's keep going. You shall not curse the deaf. You shall not place a stumbling block before the blind. לא תקלל חירש, ולא תשים ולפני עיוור, לא תשים מכשול. You shall fear your God. So when you take advantage of fellow human beings, what you are basically my friends, I can't do this. I can't hear my voice when I hear yours. There's a very important concept here, is that when you treat others without caring, or when you take advantage of the disabilities of fellow human beings, you are basically forgetting the divine presence. You're basically, when you forget their humanity, considering their disabilities, you are forgetting their divine presence.
So, this is a very broad commandment, number 14. Don't place a stumbling block before the blind. Obviously, you can say it's literal, but it's not meant to be literal. Who would place a stumbling block before the blind? But we do that all the time by not giving people the information they need to make decisions, for example, or by tempting them to do things that we know they shouldn't do. It's interpreted very broadly. Okay, you shall fear that you are God, I am the Lord. You shall not render an unfair decision. Do not favor the poor. Another very interesting thing. Normally, that's counterintuitive, right? Do not favor the poor, or show deference to the rich. Judge your kinsmen fairly. Do not deal basely with your countrymen. Do not profit by the blood of your fellow. I am the Lord. You shall not hate your kinsmen in your heart.
Wait, so 16, you have a very different English than what I have. Go to 16. You shall not be a gossiper among your people. You shall not stand aside while your fellow's blood is shed. Now, I want to stop here. This is one of the ones that I wanted to explore with you. What's the meaning of you shall not be a gossiper among your people? What's the simple meaning? Don't spread rumors. What else? Different sides, different opinions. So I think that the basic meaning of this important law is that every time that you open your mouth, it should come out of the highest level of kindness that you have. Now, the rabbis put this verse next to Tehillim with the book of Psalms. There's a sentence that is lovely. Is Mi Aisha Chafetz Chaim, who is the man who is keen for life, Ohev Yamim Le'artov, the one who loved the days and likes to appreciate the beauty in the world. נצור לנשוך, מדבר, מה? מרע ושפתיך מדבר מרמה. So you are supposed to put your tongue away from saying bad things. So how often you just open your mouth to say negative things about people because you are just annoyed? Do you answer to my question? How often? How often you, wait a second, how often you stop yourself from saying, when you are annoyed with someone, how often you stop yourself from saying, whatever you're about to say, and you say, okay, I get it. I am annoyed. I will breathe through it, and I will try to attach. Because Shalom berotfeu is the last piece of that sentence. And I will try to attach to this idea of peace, of the pursuit of peace. How often do you do that? Not very often, none of us. It's super complicated. But so Torah has a higher standard. Torah has a standard that says, when you are really, really annoyed, breathe. Don't open your mouth. Open your nose. Breathe. Just breathe. Breathe through it, and then think, how can you bring peace to this situation? And then open your mouth. Let's see, Daphna, sorry. I don't. Go ahead. That's the dilemma of a... That's so good things you are supposed to say, but in order to say good things, you need to be mostly thinking about good things. So let's keep reading and let's say what Torah says. Because Torah says not just don't gossip, and by the way, what's the meaning of gossiping in Jewish tradition? Torah here is placing that very clearly. Lo tamod al dam recha. Where is...
Well, you're talking about Rachel?
You know, when you shall not stand aside while your fellow's blood is shed. So when someone else is gossiping about someone, it's basically shedding his blood. Let's go to two more and let's move on.
You shall not hate your kinsman in your heart. Reprove your kinsman, but incur no guilt because of him.
Okay, so you shall not hate your brother in your heart. So what's the meaning of that? Heart in the language of Torah is your mind. Not your heart here, in your mind. So what's the meaning of you shall not hate your brother in your heart?
Don't bear a secret grudge. If you're mad at somebody, tell them so that they can explain their position and you can reconcile.
That's a good point. But even a bit earlier than that. What's the meaning of not hating your brother in your heart?
Attitude, feeling, and emotion.
What's the opposite of hating your brother in your heart? Love your brother in your heart. No, you are supposed to be trying to love your brother. You know, when you are talking with someone, you are supposed to be thinking about how you're going to love this person through whatever this person is presenting to you. That's the meaning of this sentence. It's really, really, really simple. Not just don't hate him, try to love him. Now, it's very complicated to love someone in your heart. It's very complicated. Especially when our natural tendency, we just said that a minute ago, is to go and gossip. So it's not that you are just not supposed to say anything that is wrong or is evil. You're even not supposed to feel those things. To be a God-fearing person, the meaning of that is that you are supposed to be working very, 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 very hard with your emotions to perceive people in a positive way. And I will say that again. You are supposed to be working very hard with your emotions to perceive your fellows in a positive way. Then, not hating them in your heart becomes a bit easier. let's keep going. How you wanted to argue?
Do I want to argue?
No, I think that you totally agreed with that.
Well, no, I agree with you, but I think that's the meaning of verse verse 18. Why I mentioned that about do not hate your kinsman in your heart, having to do with don't bear a secret grudge and tell him, is because the connection that follows, where it says tocheach, you will surely reprove him. This was by doing that you're trying to prevent having that hatred in your heart. You're putting it out on the open. Okay. All right. Reprove your kinsman, but incur no guilt because of him. You shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against your countrymen. Love your fellow as yourself. I am the Lord.
Love your fellow as yourself, I am the Lord. And then we have always this conversation that we mentioned that in a sermon 2 weeks ago, this midrash that says that love your fellow as yourself is not enough because your fellow is someone that you can actually pick, you can choose, right? You can decide who is your neighbor. So, you can live with that in California in a gated community. So you can have just the neighbors that you wish to have, and you can love all of them. You can love all of them, but then Torah goes a bit deeper than that. Can you go to verse 33? Verse 33.
When a stranger resides with you in your land, you shall not wrong him. The stranger who resides with you shall be to you as one of your citizens. You shall love him as yourself, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. I, the Lord, am your God.
So this distinction is right here in Parashat Kedoshim. And I want to point out two distinctions. We'll stop reading here, but let's have a very short conversation. Two distinctions that happen in this Torah portion. The first one is between this idea that you're not supposed to gossip. But then, more than that, you're supposed to find a place in your mind, in your heart, to love others. And then this idea that you're supposed to love your neighbor as yourself, and then we say, well, your neighbor can be whoever resides next to you. Your neighbor can be your son, can be your daughter, can be your friend from the synagogue. But then Torah goes deeper and says, no, not just your neighbor, the stranger. The stranger, the one who doesn't look like you, the one that you meet and you don't know how to do or what to do with him, that one that you don't know how to work with, you're supposed to love him too. When I was thinking about this Torah portion this time, I was struck by this idea that there is a first step, there is a first level, and then there is a deeper level that Torah is challenging us to take. There is a level in which you just don't say anything that's wrong. That might be okay, but not good enough. And there is a level in which you are supposed to actually try to think positively about others. And that's really, really, really hard. Believe me, I deal with that a lot. I often hear things and I say to myself, okay, think about this again. Try to hear what you are hearing again. What is this person trying to tell you? It's really, really hard to perceive people in a loving way, even people that we love, even people that are very close to us. With my children it happens to me all the time. That they say something and I'm not saying anything, but then I'm kind of so annoyed. And to be able to translate that into, okay, what this person is trying to tell me, how can I perceive what this individual is trying to tell me in a loving way is more challenging. The second challenge is love your neighbor as yourself. Be loving with people surrounding you. But the question is also, how can you be loving with those that are not exactly the same that you are? With the immigrant, with the stranger, with the one for the Democratic, with the Republicans, for the Republicans, with the Democratic. How can we be loving with each other when we are so deeply and dramatically different?
Remembering that we have faults and we love ourselves despite them. So others have faults, but we can love them despite their faults.
And with that, last word, we'll conclude our discussion about Torah this morning of Shabbat. We are going to read Torah, who is our
Herschel ben Avraham HaKohen, Ben Zion ben Baruch, Tzipora, Azriel ben Zion, Shoshana, Henry Cohn, Barry Klatzker, and Danny Klatzker. Sunrise. Okay. And Daphne Goodman, Fatima Varda will be chanting Torah. Baruch Adonai Avraham Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chavanu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torto. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu HaTorah. Amen.
Top of 894.
Amen. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל כל הדת בני ישראל, ואמרת אליהם קדושים יהיו, כי קדוש אני אדוני אלוהיכם. איש אמו ואביו תיראו, ואת שבתותיי תשמעו, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אל תפנו אל האלילים, ואלוהי מסכה לא תעשו לכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nasa b'tocheinu. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu HaTorah.
Amen. Yom Tu, Gedalia ben Lipa v'Shoshana, Ubracha bat Chaim Ubela, Gary and Beverly Steinberg, with Miriam Shoshana bat Pafel Esther Miriam Van Rob, chanting Torah. Baruch Adonai Avraham Le'olam Va'ed.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'chavanu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Continue on 894, second column, second line.
Verse 5.
Verse 5.
וכי תזבחו זבח שלומים לאדוני, לרצונכם תזבחו ביום זבחכם, יאכל מחרף, ונותר עד יום השלישי באש ישרף, ואם האכול יאכל ביום השלישי, תגעו לא ירצה.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam nasa b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen.
Yom Tu, Baruch Li ben Eli Ufreda, Vahana Yosefa, Bat Abraham Avinu, Vesara Amenu, Bruce Meltzer, Margaret Katie, Mitza Bat Avi Vitova, Mitza Hennig will be chanting Torah.
We're verse 8.
Yep. Okay. Still on 894. Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Tova, Bracha Bat Tzvi HaKohen Umenecha, Yixasil Gabriel Ben Baruch Halevi Vitziro Leon Nachuma, Rabbi and Barbara Levine, Rabbi Art and Barbara Levine, Steve Velasco, and Mordechai Ben Yehuda Chaya Kayla Mark Filowitz will be davening. The mafter is on page 906.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai
Baruch
Baruch
Olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'hilelchem be'en hachema, haTorah v'neah, u'be'en ha'ok hataneh v'tahor, v'lo tishamsu et mitzvechem b'achema, u'kol asher tirmos ha'adama, asher hidalti lachem l'tamid, v'yitem li kadoshim, ki kadosh ani Adonai, yadi echem mihamim, liyot li, ve'ish o isha tiyeh lachem, o idoni, v'masu b'hem, yiramu otam milehem ba'am. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emes, v'chayei olam notah b'dorkeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Yishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzhak Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel V'Leyahu Yivarech et kol ha'kroim asher alu hayom l'kvod hamakom l'kvod ha'torah l'kvod ha'shabbat. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yivarech otam ve'et mishpachotam yishlach bracha v'chatzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yedehem im kol Yisrael ha'echem v'nomar Amen. May He who bless our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who have come for an aliyah with reverence for God, respect for the Torah, and Shabbat. May the Holy One bless them and their families and prosper all their deeds together with all their fellow Jews everywhere. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Yishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu Avraham Yitzhak Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel V'Leah Hu Yivarech et HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimaleh Rachamim Aleihem Lechachalimam Ulapotam Ulachazikam V'Yishlach Lachem Mechera Refuah Shlema Me'Hashamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf Hashtava Galal V'Zman Kariv V'Nimar Amen. May the one who bless our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those whose names were mentioned, together with all others who are in need of healing. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen.
Please rise for Agba and Lila. Hold now. בסוד התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה. תורה, 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 ציווה לנו משה.
Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, על שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הגמילות חסדים. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל הגמילות חסדים.
So, we're going to do a very fast Pirkei Avot reading. We have the last verse of the 3rd chapter and the first verse of the 4th chapter. רבי אליעזר בן חיסמה אומר, קניין ופתחי נידה, אין גופי הלכות, תקופות בגימטריות, פרפראות לחוכמה. Rabbi Eliezer ben Hisma says, the laws of Knin, birth offerings, and beginnings of Nida, menstruation, they are the body of the laws. Astronomical calculations and gematria, numerical calculations, are the condiments to wisdom. So what do you think the rabbis are talking about? You have no idea. What are these birds here in the middle of the Torah portion, right? Okay. Try again. Okay, so we'll keep you with no idea. We have an idea.
Well, I mean, I don't know if this is the connection or not, but astronomical calculations and numerical calculations, and I know that in that time period with bird offerings, they were looked at as sort of a way of telling things, analyzing things.
Yafeh. So the bird, let's take the bird offerings and analyzing things and telling things. We just read in our Torah portion that there is a bird offering for well-being, right? You come and you try to recognize good things in life. So there's something that has to do with thoughtfulness. And what about menstruation? So let's make this distinction very blunt, just for the purpose of this conversation. There's more in this verse, but I want to go to the next one. So I will give you just an idea. And the idea says that Torah has to do with the laws of Torah, have to do with how to live our lives in a thoughtful way, recognizing our internal emotions, recognizing how to have a relationship with the divine presence, number one. And number two, recognizing how to live our lives in a way that honors our bodies and recognize the limitations and the fragility of our bodies. The rest is nice. Cosmology, gematria is very nice, but the rabbis are saying, these are interesting ideas, but at the end of the day, Torah has to do in how to live your life. The rest, like magic explanations, are interesting, but they're not the core. What? And condiments, yeah. Now let's get to the second one. בן זומא אומר, איזה הוא חכם, הלומד מכל אדם, בן זומא says, who is the wise? He who learns from all men, as it says, I have acquired understanding from all my teachers. Straightforward, right? Is that such an easy idea to learn from every human being? No. בן זומא אומר, איזהו חכם הלומד מכל אדם. Which basically says, the hero says, כל אדם, every human being. So the Chacham, Gabi, good point, and with that we're going to move forward, is the one who is capable of making any human being into a teacher, even of the things that you are not supposed to do. Let's move on. Who is the mighty? Sorry. Who is the mighty? Eseu Gibor. Who is the hero? Who is the Gibor? Who is the mighty one? He who conquers his impulse, as it says, slowness to anger is better than a mighty person, and the ruler of his spirit than the conqueror of a city. Akobesh et Yitzro. So the person who succeeds to work with his own shortcomings, the person that succeeds to overcome and his own personal challenges, that's a hero. That's a hero. I was having a conversation with Amitai. We have this little thing now in the mornings. We have I give them scores for their behavior the first hour of the day. When we sit in the car on our way to school, we talk about that, and we talk why, right? Like we have conversations about how to do better, and they certainly have been doing better. And we started with numbers, and then I got that the numbers were a bit too much competitive, and then we moved into Kol HaKavod, like a wonderful, and we moved also into, for negative feedback, to so Amitai realized that he got 3, and Mitzan just got 2, and he was so annoyed. He was so annoyed. So, and then I gave her one more for that he was annoyed because his sister was, from his perspective, winning the competition. But then the conversation was about this idea that he's in competition with himself. That the competition is not with anyone else, but himself. That's the meaning of Akobesh et Yitzro. The idea that you recognize yourself as a challenge, and you're in competition with yourself to make yourself a better human being. Let's move on. Where are we? Slowness, no anger, the person. What? Who is the rich one? Thank you. Who is the rich one? Asameach bechelko. He who is happy with his lot, as it says, when you eat from the work of your hands, you will be happy, and it will be well with you. You will be happy in this world, and it will be well with you, in the world to come. Now, what's the meaning of Asameach bechelko? I lost the lines here. I'm sorry. Who's content with his own life. So it's about conformism. Is it about conformism? You know, whatever you have, just be happy with that. Right?
So I read about a study where happy people are not people who set very high expectations and maybe make them, maybe don't. It's people who set realistic expectations for themselves and achieve those realistic.
Interesting. Bara?
It's also against competition. Your goal is not to compete with others, but to compete with yourself, as you said before, do the best you can and be satisfied.
About coveting, too.
No, what?
Coveting.
Coveting. So I think that there is something in terms of that's asameach bechelko, in terms of being happy with what you got, with your lot, has to do with this idea also to work toward. It's not just about conformism, it's also to set realistic expectations of what you want to have in your life and to work toward that. And to have clarity on that, because otherwise you are all the time busy with what you don't have. Like, Asameach bechelko is the one who recognizes those things that he has or she has as a treasure. Now, if you don't have what you want to have in your life, well, there may be an opportunity to work on those things. And I'm not necessarily talking about your bank account, right? Like, I'm talking about other things. Because actually, happiness has more to do with interactions and with self-realization than with our bank account. The bank account helps, but that's not the main factor. So realistic expectations and to work toward those realistic expectations, and then yes, you will be happy, obviously, with your lot. Now, who is honored? And this is, I love this one. He who honors the created beings, as it is says, for those who honor me, I will honor. And those who despise me will be held in little esteem. Now, what the rabbis are bringing here in the book of Shmuel, in the book of Samuel, they are saying that when God speaks about himself, he wants to be seen, he wants to be recognized in other creatures. So if you honor God's presence when you are in interaction with other creatures, if you recognize the divine presence when you interact with others, then you will get honor for yourself. You will have an honorable life when you actually honor your fellows. Honoring God and having honor is not about if you sit in the first. I remember that in my community, when I grew up, there was a big deal about who was going to sit in the first row in the synagogue, and there were very honorable people, right? I'm not sure that they were honorable in real. I even don't remember these people, but I was very young. I'm not sure that that was the real honor. The real honor, according to the Mishnah, is this ability to honor others and therefore bring honor to your life. So it's not about being respected. It's more about being in the enterprise of respecting others, dedicating yourself to respect others, to honor others. And then God will honor you. With that idea, we are... Why?
Why should God want us to honor others? You used a word in Hebrew that doesn't really come through when we say it in English. Briot.
Yeah.
Okay?
Creatures. Creations.
What's the context? So what we say in English,
מלוא הארץ כבודו.
we say fellow man. What does that mean, fellow man? Why are they our fellow man? Because
We were all...
they, like we, are God's creations. That's what connects us, and that's why. And why should God want us to treat our fellow man well? Because God created all of us. It's like you want your parent, want your children to treat each other well.
So basically what the rabbis are saying, and rabbis and Rabbi Art are saying, is that the way to deepen a relationship with God is by deepening our relationships with fellow humans, by trying harder and harder in our relationship with fellow humans. And that starts by not gossiping and not hurting them, not hating them in your heart. Please rise as we return the Torah to the Ark. We are on page 374.
עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה דרכנו בכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש ימינו כקדם. On page 586.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל
בנו כגויי הארצות, ולא עזבנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל עמונה. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. At this point of our service, we take a moment to acknowledge mourners among our community. If you are during the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, please rise. If you are during the first 30 days of mourning, please rise. If you are during the cycle of the first year of mourning, please rise and remind us who you are remembering. If you have a yahrzeit this week, please rise. Now you can support our fellows while standing or sitting, joining us with your voices and your hearts for Mourners Kaddish. On page 598, Itgadal Beitgadash Be'alma Dibra Chirute Be'amlich Malchute B'chayechon u'b'yemechon u'b'chaye dechol Beit Israel B'agala u'b'zman karib B'imru Amen. Ye'eh Shemeh Rabba Meborach Le'olam Ul'me'almaya Idbar Beitadar, Beitale, Beitalal, Shemet Kodesha, Leila, Mikol, Bihata, Beshirata, Tushbehata, Benehemata, Da Miram, Bealma, Beimru, Amen. Yeesh Lamaraba, Min Shemaya, Bechaim, Aleinu, Bealkol Israel, Beimru, Amen. Ose Shalom, Beimru Mav, Uyase Shalom. Aleinu, Bealkol Israel, Bealkol Yoshbei Tevel, Beimru, Amen. May the memories of your dear ones be for a blessing. Zichronam lebracha. You may be seated. Something that I like to remind about Kaddish. What's the first word of Kaddish? Itgadal, which comes from the root, from the word gadol, which means big. So the idea of Kaddish, when we say Kaddish, we usually remember someone who made God's presence in this world bigger for us. When we talk about God's presence being in fellow humans, when we say Itgadal, Beit Kadash, someone who made God's presence bigger and sacred. And the Kaddish is a text about hope, about finding presence even when we recognize the deep absence that we are dealing with. So every time that we say Kaddish, we stand with the little hope that we will find God's presence again through other humans or maybe through memories in our hearts. A couple of things that you should know. Next week, a group of 13, 14 congregants of Temple Beth Tikvah are traveling to Washington, D.C. We are going to be studying about the intersection between social justice and Jewish tradition. So we are excited to be there, and we hope to come back with lots of ideas to increase our social justice work here in Fullerton. Next week also we have Tot Shabbat, and the end of Habaya school on Saturday afternoon. June 1st. This is Miriam, bye, party. But I have good news for you. The day later, Miriam comes back to introduce to the entire community Rabbi Uri Regev, who is coming in Yom Yerushalayim, in the day of Jerusalem, for Rabbi Asa's memorial lecture. We are bringing him all the way from Jerusalem. And if you haven't met Uri, Rabbi Regev, who is also a lawyer, I think you better invest your time in trying to listen to this rabbi. He's a very wise rabbi. Unfortunately, I won't be in town, and therefore Miriam will be introducing him already as a volunteer, as a retired woman who will come to do a favor to a colleague. So Miriam is going to be here, and the week later, Shavuot, June 8th, we are going to celebrate the holiday of Shavuot. In the afternoon, we'll have a play date for children and a play date for parents with a beer party because it's barley and it's the holiday of why not to drink beer. And at 6:30, we will have our cheesecake contest at 5:30. At 6:30, if some of you are experts in cheesecakes, please talk to Miriam. She's organizing that. Like the Cheesecake Factory. Yes. Are you retired? Oh my gosh. Okay, the cheesecake thing. We'll talk about that. I don't know. I never just will talk about that. So she's retiring. Did I mention that? So on June 8th, so talk to me about your cheesecakes. Talk to me about your cheesecakes. And at 6:30, we'll have a service. We will install our new board of directors. 6:30 is the service. We need one Torah. Laila? No. One Torah, we read the 10 Commandments. Good. So that's it. So that's the entire information. We are going to conclude our service on page 625 with Adon Olam. And if you feel comfortable connecting with each other, we encourage you, invite you to do so.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Yitzir Nivra Le'ed Masa V'chetzo Kol Asai Zemelech Shemo Nikra
ורק יבלוט הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא עובד, והוא יהיה ותתפרע, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה, ולראשית ולתכלית, ולא העוס והמצאי, והוא אלי וחי גואלי, וצריך לי והצרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, האם מנת כוסי ויום אקראי, וידו אפתית רוחי, ותישן בהעירה, ועם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי, ולא יירא. אדוני יעוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום, שבת שלום everyone. אדוני לראי, 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 You do that.